Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazza. On today's show, we check in with the Energy Guy. My guest today is the Energy Guy, Steve Wilson from Ames Electric Services. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we are at the end of summer for most people. School's back in session. Iowa State has started, and yet it is so hot.
Yeah, we are in a continuation of summer. It's not necessarily winding down. In fact, it's building into some of the hottest weather we've had all year.
You know, we've been fortunate. We've had a relatively mild summer. Of course, we've been pushing that conservation message all summer long,
Right.
But it really is hitting home right now. People need to reduce their electricity use, reduce their water usage. What are some tips? How can people do that?
Well, first of all, it's important on a week like this or during weather like this that we reduce for a couple of reasons. One is we want to lower our bills. We just want to be generally more efficient because that helps us in the long run. We also want to reduce our demand. On a hot day like this, demand is going to be very high. And when the demand is high, it taxes the distribution system. It can overall drive our costs up. So we want to save energy anyway, but especially in weather like this. And so what we ask people to do on a day like today, for instance, limit the number of exterior door openings and closings. Try not to use the stove or the oven to cook foods. Eat cold foods or maybe use the microwave intermittently. Turn your thermostat up a few degrees and use a fan to stay cool. Now, it's interesting because a fan would cost you maybe 10 cents a day to operate, where an air conditioner might cost you $3 to $4 a day. So if you turn up the thermostat so that the air conditioner doesn't run as much and you use a fan to stay cool, you're not only going to be comfortable, but you're also going to save dollars in energy over time.
So you mentioned saving dollars over time, and then also the effect that saving electricity is good for our community as a whole. Mm-hmm. Electric companies have to have more power on sort of standby than they need, isn't that correct?
Yeah, one of the realities of an interconnected transmission system, the grid, is that one utility in trouble can pull the system down. And so a requirement of the organization, we belong to an organization called MISO that sort of organizes all of the generation and transmission in the area. One of the requirements is that we maintain a cushion. Mm-hmm. So we have to have about 15% or access to 15% more electricity than we actually need to service the community of Ames. And so it's not only a matter of supplying the demand requested by the customer, it's also then having to make sure we have on standby another 15%.
So we have this sort of electric savings account.
Right, exactly. And then
when our demand gets higher, the amount in that savings account has to grow.
Yeah, exactly. And so even when we may have, and we do, by the way, we have plenty of electricity available. There's no issue in terms of do we have enough? Are we going to have a brownout or a blackout? No, we have plenty. But the issue is one of dollars, because when our demand goes high, it pushes the cushion higher as well. And so if we don't have it in terms of generators down at the power plant, we have to bring on backup peaking generators. We have to go out to the grid and we have to buy power to bring it into Ames to make up that cushion. And it's expensive at this time of year because everybody wants it.
So not only are you paying to run all your electric items in your home, mm-hmm. but you're also having to support sort of the system as a whole to keep it solid.
Right, and that's sort of why we say that what we do today impacts us ongoing. If you save energy, you'll not only see that savings in your pocketbook, but you're also going to turn that into savings over time in the rate. Because if we don't have to continually buy inexpensive power, then it helps us keep our rate lower over time. We also contribute to a cleaner environment. So there are many reasons why we want to conserve energy and water, but there's even more of an incentive on a hot day because again, it gets so expensive to provide electricity on a hot day.
Right, and Ames Electric Services is part of the City of Ames. You're a municipal utility. We're a not-for-profit organization. Again, our customers live right here in Ames, and we're all working together to keep this to keep the power plant running smoothly and to reduce the strain on the system.
Right. We sort of depend on one another. Where an investor-owned utility would be able to charge a premium, let's say, to generate income off of the sale of electricity, a municipal utility can't do that. We're only able to charge as much as it costs us to provide it. So we recover basically only what we have to. Well, if you look at it that way, it's the have to that we want to keep as low as we can, because then again it turns into a lower rate over time. It helps the utility maintain a good, solid reliability, and it helps with the environment too. So,
one of the great tools that we've used, I know in the past, to drive down demand has been Primetime Power, which is a great program. 9,000 voluntary customers have switches on their homes or businesses right now. Talk a little bit about Primetime Power.
Primetime Power is what we call a load control program, the load being an air conditioner. In our residences and our small businesses, where we have what I would call a residential style air conditioner, where there's an outdoor condensing unit, there's an indoor coil. On that outdoor unit where the compressor is, we can put a switch. And when we get a hot day like this, we send out a signal from the power plant. The switch picks it up, and what it does is it shuts down the compressor for 7.5 minutes out of every half an hour. It's sort of random throughout the community, so at any given time when we send out that signal, about 25% of those 9,000 switches are going to stop those compressors. Well, when you add that up, it allows us to reduce demand by somewhere between 3 and 4 megawatts, which is substantial. And if we can plan on that, if we can count on that year after year after year, it will save the utility millions of dollars. So it's a good program, and it's a program that not only helps the community as a whole, it helps the utility greatly in terms of reducing that demand. Now, Primetime Power is not an energy saving program. And we talked about it being load control. Okay, the air conditioner is still going to run, so it's not going to save the customer energy. It's not going to reduce your bill. But what we do in order to sort of incent people or entice people to join the program, we give the customer a $20 per summer credit on their bill, $5 in each of the 4 summer months. And so there's a little bit of an incentive for people to sign up. We hope they would sign up anyway because it's a good program, it's good for the community, but if they need a little incentive, we've got one.
Well, and really it is not activated very often. A typical summer might see a handful of activations, and this summer, I think recently has been the first time this summer.
Yeah, we've had summers where we never turn it on. We tend to want to try it at least once as a test. Earlier this summer we did test it for a couple of hours, so it did come on, but it wasn't a requirement based on a high demand. We just did it to make sure it works. On days like today, we have an automated system where there is a threshold determined. Once it's achieved in terms of megawatts, the system comes on. It will do the 7.5 minutes out of every half an hour thing until the demand then drops to a predetermined threshold, and then it shuts itself off. So it's sort of a worry-free program, and worry-free is essentially what we want people to see the program as, because basically we hope it's an invisible program. We hope that people won't even know that we've interrupted their air conditioners. Air conditioners are running, houses are cool, they've got humidity pulled out of them. 7.5 minutes is not enough time so that the occupants inside the space are going to even know that their compressor's been stopped. Most homes wouldn't heat up more than a degree. The indoor fan continues to circulate air, and so unless you happen to be standing right by your outdoor compressor and you hear it shut off and you look at the switch and you see the little red light on, you're not even going to know we've done it, which is a good thing.
Well, Primetime Power is just one of the smart energy programs offered by the Ames Electric Services. Lots of other programs there to decrease electric use. Talk a little bit about some of those other options.
Well, I think probably one of the basic programs that we have is the energy audit. The energy audit allows people to create or develop an understanding of their energy consumption, what they might do to improve, become more efficient. We have an auditor that will come out, they'll look at all of the systems in your home, the insulation, the windows, the doors, the heating and cooling equipment, the water heater, the appliances, how the building is constructed. They put together a report. For homes that were built before the year 2000, they'll add a blower door test to determine whether or not you've got a lot of air infiltration or not. And essentially what happens then is you have a report in your hands that tells you about your home. And it gives you some instructions or recommendations of what you can do to improve your efficiency. So that's essentially where, in my mind, that's where things start for customers. Now, if you have to go out and replace an appliance, refrigerator, freezer, dishwasher, washing machine, if it's Energy Star rated, there's a rebate for that. You can apply for a rebate. If you put efficient lighting in your home, compact fluorescence or LED lighting, there's a rebate for that. If you install a brand new air conditioner and it's efficient, there's a rebate for that as well. Besides having the audit, there are incentives, if you will, to improve your efficiency. We also have incentives for commercial businesses. And so at any level, residents, small, large commercial, industrial customers, we have incentives, we have rebates for those folks and audits to help them understand their energy.
Well, and anybody can find more information about those on our website. You can go to cityofames.org/smartenergy. They're right on the front page as well. Look for the Smart Energy button. Lots of information about how to conserve our limited natural resources. Steve, it's always great to have you by. Thanks for the energy saving tips, and stay cool.
Yeah, you too.
Well, Steve Wilson gave us some great tips on how to save electricity, and if you want more information or want to sign up for a home energy audit, remember, just go to our website, cityofames.org/smartenergy. There's a fillable form. You can sign up right online, or you can print one out, mail it in, and get a home energy audit. Also remember, Wednesday, September 4th is the deadline for the Ames Citizens Academy. There's a fillable form online for that as well at cityofames.org. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.